is a Touchstone Publishers presentation, your trusted source of leadership knowledge.
Who establishes the purpose of your life, your career, and how you should live your life? How should you do the meaningful activities? These are questions that continue to power today's activities and well-being. Dr. Benjamin Ritter is a leadership and career coach, values geek, international speaker, podcaster, author, mentor, and passionate about guiding others and finding, creating, and sustaining a career they love. Join Glenn Daniels and Dr. Benjamin Ritter.
Well, welcome everyone. I'm breaking the habit of saying good morning no matter what time of day it is, so we won't say good morning. We'll just say welcome, and to our special guest today, Dr. Benjamin Ritter. Welcome, sir. Thank you for being here.
I'm very happy to be here, and I get around that. I'll go good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world.
Yeah, I tried that, but
it's more of a mouthful.
Yeah, I try to remember that, but sometimes just get started and get rolling. Just get rolling. Hey, several small questions for you that I want to cover because the purpose is to talk about your TED Talk, the missing ingredient for finding purpose at work. But before we even dive into that a little bit, I want to ask you this one question. What is most unique or most important that everybody listening should take away from this talk today, but not from this talk today, but should know about your organization, yourself, or your TED Talk? What's really something that's unique or important that they should take away or be aware of from you today?
I really appreciate that question. I try to epitomize it just in my name, live for yourself. And people hear live for yourself, and they go, what's that? Does it mean to be selfish each and every single day? And I go, well, kind of, in a way. It's not to be selfish, but it is to live for yourself. But to do that, you need to have accountability for your own life, for your own feelings, for everything that you create, wherever you invest your time. And you have to give yourself permission to actually be accountable. So permission to reach out to someone that you don't know for an opportunity, permission to say no to things that aren't serving you, permission to break off of relationships, or permission to move and go somewhere else in a way that just basically make progress. And so I hope people just take that one thing away, to be accountable and to give yourself permission.
I find that interesting that we find, as long as you're accountable and giving yourself permission, but I find a lot of folks, and maybe you have or have not in your experience, get wrapped up in this idea of being selfish. If I can't be selfish, that doesn't help or serve the right people. How do you handle that? Or do you believe that that's something that can be handled with more than just accountability?
I don't try to judge right or wrong, good or bad, because I have my perception of the world based on my experiences. And I think we have certain social norms too, and certain levels of morality that some people, live true to. I tend to work with clients that want to create a greater social impact in the world. Those are the people that gravitate towards me. Those are the people that see live for yourself and they go, I want to create something more within the world, something that I know that's inside me, but I don't know what it is and I don't know how to apply it. So when I work with those individuals, being selfish is usually actually doing more good. It's about understanding what their values are for themselves and aligning their energies to live those values truthfully. And so, yes, they might be investing all their time in one area, saying yes to all these people in their life, when really what they should be doing, because that's taking away from the value they could bring to the world, is cutting back on the things that don't truly align with who they are and reapplying their energy to a different area. Because right now, I'd say you're not actually honoring. If you feel stuck, you're not honoring yourself. Not in the least. You think you're too worried usually what other people think of you, when you should be worried about what you really think about yourself and how you're showing up. And so when it comes to being selfish, I go, great, be selfish, but be selfish in a way that aligns with your values and can bring value to the world. So ultimately, you're not really doing anything wrong per se in your own mind, your own definition.
I tell you what I liked about what you just said, and it's our first writable moment. I don't like the tweetable things, I don't care, but writable moment is when you said being selfish allows you to deliver more value to the world. That's something people should take home and should be writing down. Being selfish means I can deliver more value to the world. I think that's really
all that
critical.
means you get clear on your goals. So it's like, what do I care about? And how do I create goals that align with what I care about? And how do I make progress towards those goals? It doesn't mean being mean or being rude or being unethical. I think selfish gets a bad rap. Selfish means just living true to your strengths and living true to your
Mm.
goals. That's all it is. You can still be good within all that.
Yes, yes. Powerful, powerful way to get started. I want to ask you about your journey, though. When you first came up with this idea of what you wanted to share, from that moment to the time you actually walked on stage, what was that journey like? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I think it's kind of similar to trying to publish a book, where
Mm,
there's this saying I remember reading when I was trying to I wasn't even self-publishing, I was looking for agents, and it said, until you can uh, wallpaper your room in rejection letters, you haven't reached out enough.
right, right,
And
right.
with TEDx, again, TED, like it has, this notoriety of being a place where ideas are spread, where you need to go on, you can get on stage and people can hear you and you can create change in the world. And I treated it the same way. I'm going to every month or so going to go on that TEDx website, going to look at places that are hosting events, and I'm going to check their websites and submit. And recently, actually, I was able to help a client get a TEDx talk, but that's because I built relationships with the people that host them. I didn't do that when I got to TEDx. I didn't
Mm.
wasn't that smart. I was like,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
going to
yeah,
go
yeah.
find the curators and build relationships with them. No, I was actually just sending out outreach after outreach after outreach. And my TEDx
Yeah.
was like 3 hours away from where I lived too. So it was a commitment to go there for practice and then to go home and then to go back out again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That is a commitment. That's one thing that you're one of the very few who pointed out that you got to wallpaper your room, your office with these rejection notices, like a book. And so those can be very disappointing. You get enough of those, you kind of want to quit. Most of us quit after 10, but the truth of the matter is you probably need to do about at least 200.
Oh yeah, it's like with networking.
Yeah.
People say I reached out to 2 people this week and didn't get back to me, so I didn't do very good at networking. I go, no, no,
Mm-hmm.
no.
Well,
The goal of networking is to find the people that want to respond to you. Same thing with TEDx. You apply to every single one you can find. There is no limit because all that matters is getting that one yes.
yeah, again, that one is. Talk to us about your development of your talk. How'd you develop that? Because in most cases, we ask that because in most cases, people who are professional speakers or who have a message, they got to take this message from 90 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, 2 days, down to less than 18 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and work with a lot of clients when you even just ask them what their personal brand is, and sometimes a good leading question is, well, what would you give a TEDx talk about? And they go, well, I don't have anything to give the world. I'm not of value. And I go, hold on a second. That's a really big
This is
belief.
wrong.
Everybody has value. Everybody has a story. And for me, I just explored what am I most passionate about at that point in my life, what has changed my life, and what do I feel I want people to know? And how could knowing that change a person's life, but also the world? And I looked, purpose was something that I spoke about the first time I ever became a coach. It was like, this was the thing that changed my life in multiple instances. When I was a kid with soccer, wanting to be a professional athlete, purpose was the worst thing I followed because I dedicated my life and limited myself to this one specific thing that destroyed my relationships, that destroyed my mental health, that destroyed my physical health. And then again, when I was working as a healthcare professional, where I thought I had purpose under wraps, I thought I had this idea of, purpose really isn't something you should get lost in. There should be this balance. I learned another lesson about purpose because I thought that my work was supposed to give me meaning and that I was supposed to take it from them. And I was like, oh man, I did it again. And so coming out of those two experiences, I thought personally, I was driven to spread this word. And so how I came up with it was, what am I most passionate about? What do I want to tell to people? And how could that potentially impact the world? And then I also sat down and did some work. Like I read books on giving TED Talks. I listened to podcasts, on how to give TED Talks, because there's one part which is, this is my storyline, but then it's also, well, how do I construct it?
Right, right. Okay, so that's a tough thing to do. I had a different question for you that I wanted to ask, but you brought something up to me. You said you had to have a purpose, but the purpose couldn't be all consuming. It had to have some kind of balance. Is that what you're saying? If you have a purpose, I think in your TEDx you talk about 3 keys to having a great job satisfaction, great job life. But is that what? So clarify that for me. Coach me on that. A
Yeah,
purpose, but it goes overboard.
Yeah, with purpose, a lot of people make the mistake of, they are living for their purpose. And I also need to find my purpose. And so they place their purpose on a pedestal. And they go, this is the thing that's most important in my life. And they forget, just like I did, that where did that purpose come from? It didn't fall out of the sky and land in front of me. It was something that I created and that I decided was important. So if you decide something is important, you should also remember that you created it and you are more important than it. And
Yes.
it shouldn't actually be a detriment to your health. And that's really a huge part of that TEDx talk. The one thing that I really want people to remember is that we are the creators of our purpose. And so our purpose can never be greater than us. And very often people tend to get lost in this quest for purpose, as well as they get lost in their purpose. And they forget that there's other ways to live and enjoy life. Your purpose literally exists for you to enjoy life. Period.
Mm.
And like that's literally what it's there for. That's why people try to find it. So when it starts to take that away from you, then you got to start asking yourself, am I managing this right?
Your purpose. I like your statement that came out, but there's several things that came out through your TEDx talks. But purpose is not given; it's created. So if you're busy looking for this almighty impression of what purpose is, you're kind of missing the boat. You're creating it, and it's created to give you enjoyment. Am I tracking right with you like that?
Yeah. And that enjoyment can be to change the world. Like it could, again, this idea of, well, that sounds a little selfish. Well, doing good, you feel good about doing good. That's enjoyment. Right? Working hard at night because you feel like you're actually doing something that's vital and important to the world. That's enjoyment. So when you are stressed, it doesn't mean you're not enjoying the things that you're doing. It doesn't mean that they're not fulfilling in some way. But just like what you said, we can create that through our experiences. And very often we float through life hoping to stumble into our purpose, to stumble into the things that we care about, instead of figure out that, I can go create it, I can go explore, I can go get curious, I can be present in each and every single day and every single minute, and then I can be aware of how I feel. And then when I notice a spark, I can go blow on it and throw some kindle to the flames, and that could grow exponentially. But very often we're waiting kind of to fall in love at first sight with our purpose. It doesn't work like that.
No, it sure doesn't. Well, we make it work that way, but it shouldn't work that way at all. You also talked about something else in your TED Talk that I found to be interesting, or really what you're kind of all about, it feels like to me, and correct me, coach me if I'm wrong here, but you talked about, share this idea of how purpose can roll through, everything. It can permeate everything. You can call it being selfish, but if you have it done right, it works out well. So I noticed this statement, the role of purpose and job satisfaction. If you have coaches about that, what does that mean? When you say the role of purpose and job satisfaction, what are you meaning?
There are three core components of job satisfaction. A lot of times people just think it's about purpose. It's not. When we think about job satisfaction, you have to think about, what is the actual work that you're doing? Who am I doing it with? So your social relationships, and then the meaning comes into play. So a lot of times people say, I need to find the thing that truly makes me feel that I'm doing something that's purposeful or that it's really meaningful. Well, that's like a third, 33% of why you're happy each and every single day at work. And to remember that is really crucial and important, because then it helps filter out potential job opportunities. You're focusing on, is this the type of work that I want to do? Or how do I mold my job to be more of the work that I want to do? So then you're questioning what you want to do, which is really powerful. You're figuring out what drains you, what energizes you. Then you ask yourself, what about my social relationships? Do these align with who I am? Am I learning from them? Are they challenging? Are they enjoyable? Are they positive? Are these people that I want to show up to from work every day? Do I trust them? That's crucial. It's critical. And then comes into play meaning and purpose. And so do I actually feel that my work is meaningful? And not feel, but can I create meaning through my work? And this also aligns with the people and aligns with the actual work, because you can start molding how you show up each and every single day, from the lenses that you wear on your eyes to how you see your work, how you feel that it's actually impacting the world, because you can just change your mind, change your thoughts, but then also you can choose to do specific work that aligns more with what you feel is meaningful. And so if we take, again, this comes back to, you have to give yourself permission to stray away from your job description, to approach your boss and have these types of conversations, and then be accountable to raise your hand for work that is interesting, and to work with people that you feel are interesting, and to set up meetings with people that you think are interesting. And then all of a sudden now, purpose and job satisfaction can grow and become a true part of your life.
I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit because that's very powerful, but I want you to inspire us. How does this idea help us as human beings? And I want to go a little bit deeper than just helping us. I mean, helping the human race, the human condition. How does your ideal create that?
We can all talk about disengaged employees are the greatest cost to an organization. Right? We can talk about that. We can talk about just wanting to be happy at work. But when people enjoy their work, when they feel an attachment to their work, when they feel safe at work, when they can show up as who they truly are and find purpose from their work, they not only are they more productive for the organization, but health issues decrease. Absenteeism goes down. It's incredible to see the types of things that people can learn, and how much innovation can come from when someone feels like they're in a place of happiness and fulfillment. When they say that you can create a state of flow when you are truly immersed in what you care about. And those eureka moments, those huge, the huge innovations, again, these huge ideas come from that state. And so if we have a world of people that are doing the work they love to do, doing the work they feel that they're called to do, and feeling empowered to change the work they're doing to be best fit for them, then all of a sudden now we have a pretty great world to work in. And who knows what can develop from that world.
Right. Okay. How do you coach me to empower my team so that they can live their passion, their purpose, while working for me, even though the job is my passion, my purpose, it may not exactly be theirs? How do you coach me to empower them to reach out for that?
Yeah, so it's every problem is a personal problem. I don't know if you heard that before. So it's about human connection. And I created this team model of managing to motivate. So it stands for trust, actual work, environment, and meaning. And so you need to, first off, have trust with your team. If they don't feel safe, if they feel like they're going to lose their jobs, if they feel like you're looking for ways to nitpick and, to be critical towards them, then this isn't going to work. But first, so if you can create trust within within your teammates through some positive feedback, through ensuring that there's transparency, through your style of communication in terms of you're not just directive, you also are asking them questions, with this framework actually helps you create, then you can start moving forward. You can help them create greater meaning from their jobs. Because then you go to E, which is their environment. So how are they working each and every single day? And as a leader, you need to ask them these questions. You need to have this information. You need to store it somewhere that they can access. So do they have the resources to do their job? I mean, we moved to a virtual environment. Did your employees have a microphone, a camera? Did they need a nicer chair? Do they have an internet connection? These are all truly important. Do they have pens and paper at home? Like, you actually need to know this. What is critical for their job? And when it comes to the environment itself, who are they working with? How are they engaging with people that they enjoy? So what is your meeting cadence and structure? How are you empowering individuals to have connections and build connections with work? There used to be I worked with this engagement survey, and there was a question, do you have a best friend at work? And they don't have to be your best friend, but they have to be someone that you trust and that you look to for support. And then so after you focus on the environment, you can focus on the actual work and say, well, what do you enjoy doing? What is your vision? What challenges do you want to face from work? What skills do you want to learn? What work do you feel really good at? Because that's the work that you're going to just crush. What work don't you feel very good at? So I know when I have to provide you positive feedback and I have to adjust expectations, and what maybe we can delegate some of that off and get it off your plate, because it's maybe not something that you need to do or something that we really need you to do. And once you focus on that, then you can go to meaning and say, well, what brought you to this career? What brought you to this position? What do you feel is impactful about the work that you do? Let me highlight some things that are impactful about the work that we do. Let me tell you my story as a leader, what brought me here today. So then I can provide myself as a role model. And once you do all of that, all of a sudden now you've created an environment that motivates and engages your employees. Just through knowing them, just through having a conversation with them. And for sure, this is the most important, following up on that information and making sure that you provide that feedback within your own actions as a leader.
So giving trust first, and then creating the environment. Those lead to helping you create the passion and the power for your employees.
And one of the great things about the environment is if you start talking to them about what resources they need, it tends to come up what issues they face each and every single day with clients or the work they're doing. And if you can help them solve their own problems, you've created, they're going to respect you, but they will be more motivated to come into work each and every single day. And as you do this more and more, they'll become more transparent with you. And so it just builds on itself.
Would you suggest, because a lot of companies used to do this and then they pulled away from it, suggest helping people find their passion on the job? I mean, I notice Starbucks still does this, where they'll pay for you to go to college no matter what your degree is.
I think it's absolutely critical to have those types of conversations with your employees at no matter what level they're at, to understand what their long-term vision is, and to actually ask them a few times, because you need to pull back the layers so they can give you the right answer, understand what their short-term vision is, and to really understand why they show up to work each and every single day. Nothing's wrong with needing a paycheck. Like if we're worried about money, then we need to highlight that money comes from this job, because until that person's not worried about money, that's all they're going to worry about. They're not going to care about connection exercises. They're not going to care about this huge social impact in the world. They need to feel safe. That's part of trust.
Yes. Part of Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Yeah, exactly.
Very, very good steps there in the way. So, and an employer should feel safe saying, well, I know what the statistics say. The statistics tell you that you can offer and say, I'll pay for your tuition, and let them get all the way up to a law degree. And they stay with you after the law degree. The capacity has changed. Maybe they become your lawyer. They stay with you and you help them get that passion. So you built that, even though they weren't intending to do that at the start. So that, gotta like that. What I'm kind of curious about, where did your TEDx take you? I mean, you covered some great, and there's three main points in there, but you covered some great stuff. Where did that take you? I mean, what happened after you finished your TEDx talk? I know you created this company, Living for Yourself Consulting, but tell us what happened afterwards.
What was most important about the TEDx talk is that it made me prepare a TEDx talk. Which is just like I'd say, what's the most important part about my doctorate? Well, it made me sit down and study the areas that I'm interested in. And so you become an expert in yourself. That's the beauty of the TEDx talk. So then when you go have these types of conversations, I can sit here and comfortably tell you what I think and what I believe. I can share my personal brand. I can get on stage and do that. And I think that was the most powerful aspect of what I left with from that TEDx talk with.
When you work with other companies, what is that like? What's that experience like?
Really depends on what their goals are, because I operate in the leadership and career space. So I can work with individual executives and senior managers, and I can prepare them for promotion. I can prepare them for leading their teams. I can prepare them for really trying to figure out where they want to go next within the organization or outside the organization. I also help develop new managers. So it just really, truly depends on what their goals are as an organization as it relates to talent and leadership development.
I'm going to push you a little bit further on that. What, if there's a type of company that you prefer to work with, what type of company do you prefer to work with, and what does that look like to work with you?
Oh, anyone that's interested in this type of work, I'll tell you. So I've worked in the fitness space. I've worked in the real estate space. I've worked in the restoration space. I've worked with in the government. Like I've literally worked across all industries, nonprofits, because when it comes to developing leaders and when it comes to having this specific mindset for, personal accountability and giving yourself permission and what the truth is about job satisfaction, this is the world of work. This is not just any industry, it's the world of work. And so if someone's interested in it and bringing that to their employees, then I'm interested in working with them.
Push you a little bit further. So I want you to kind of give us a framework. So nonprofit, government financed, with relatively new leadership. If they don't understand how leadership works, what does it like to work with you in that arena?
So if I'm working one-on-one as a coach, the senior leader or executive, we usually work together for 3 months. So it's weekly coaching sessions for an hour, a little bit over an hour. And we have specific goals that we set at the start of those programs. So it can be communication, confidence, clarity of vision and values, to who they really are as a leader, to how they actually want to lead in terms of styles, as well as potentially understanding all of their employees and really getting into the nitty-gritty of creating communication templates and ways to log that information. And so we work together for those 3 months and work towards those goals through weekly coaching sessions. I'm also available 24/7 as a coach. So I use an app called Voxer, and I'm there just 24, literally 24/7 sometimes, sending voice notes and files and text messages and stuff, really just to help them get through the day, to be their support system, but then develop their self-leader to ensure that they're able to say, oh, I feel stuck. This is why I feel stuck. Let me get some clarity. And then I have the confidence. I know what skills I need to develop to be sure that I take action, and then to prioritize it in their life.
Good. I like that a lot. Talk to us again about the TEDx. Tell us what people listen to it. What should they actually walk away with in the TEDx? Share that with us again.
It's this idea again of that you need to create your purpose instead of wait for it. Okay. No one's gonna walk up to you one day with like at a buffet or a fancy dinner and take off the top of the lid of something and say, "Here's your purpose. Enjoy. Dive in."
Well,
so
we're taught that,
ask yourself some hard questions. What was that?
We're kind of taught it that way. We're kind of taught.
Yeah.
I mean, as children, we're taught it was not as bad as it was back in the 1940s, but we're kind of taught the purpose is to make a living.
Well, yeah, think about it. So we go to school and we automatically create friends because we're around people that we're sharing experiences with.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we play a sport, so we build up some other friends. We develop an enjoyment for that sport. We have parents that have a certain career, or friends that have a certain career, or we read a book or watch something on TV. So we decide, oh, that's what I want to do for a living. We pick some sort of major, get out of school, apply for a bunch of jobs or an internship, and we take anything that we get. And then all of a sudden, that thing that we took, anything that we could get, becomes the launching path for our career. And then we just do the same thing over and over and over again we react to life instead of be proactive in life. And this idea of creating your purpose is just the same idea of being proactive in life and in your career, seeking out the things that you think you want, exploring what you think you want, taking actions instead of just waiting.
Like that's really powerful, really useful. What are you doing now? I mean, I know you're doing the coaching and all that. What are you doing now that people can reach out to and say, hey, Dr. Ritter, I need this? Is it just the coaching, or do you have any other projects coming up?
Yeah, two main things. So leadership and career coaching, as well as corporate workshops. So if you are a professional that doesn't feel like you are doing the right thing, if you experience professional success but don't feel successful, if you're a leader on paper but don't define yourself as a leader internally, and you're feeling stuck in your career or in your leadership skills or development, then we should have a conversation and we can see if I can help out. If you're an organization that it says, we do need some leadership development in here, and you're open to that human touch, you're open to that team model of managing to motivate. If you're finding that job satisfaction rates are declining, or just looking to increase engagement, then we should have a conversation as well.
Absolutely perfect. What questions should I have asked you that I didn't?
That is a good question. That is a good question. Honestly,
make sure we cover everything.
Yeah, and honestly, I think if anyone's out there thinking of a TEDx talk or a TED talk, you don't yes, sometimes people reach out to individuals to ask them if they want to give a talk. It feels just as good if you go out there and ask someone if you can give a talk. Yeah. So it doesn't hurt to ask. And it's not the big names that are on these stages anymore. It's the local professor. It's the kid that's an advocate and working at the, it's anyone that is adding value in a way or has a story or an idea that they feel like should be shared. People want to listen. People want to listen to you. You just have to give them the chance.
Agreed. Agreed. I think just to add on to that, it's not really so much, like you said, being a big name, but it's being willing to share your ideal. Now, you're lucky you only have to go 3 hours away. A lot of folks are flying all over the United States to deliver their ideal, and they're not getting paid for it. Because that's why I decided to go with this type of interview, because you had passion to do this. I mean, just to wallpaper your room with the rejections, that takes a lot of passion.
Yeah, it's free wallpaper.
Yeah, it's free ugly wallpaper. Free ugly wallpaper. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to share. Your message is succinct, is powerful. But I really just, before we go, I want to go back to this one last and leave people with this last one, because I'm not sure if there's a more powerful message than this. Purpose is not given, it's created. I don't think there's a more powerful message that can get across. Do you have a more powerful message? Or do you agree with me?
It's not a Nike just do it, but it's good. It's there.
Yeah.
Purpose is not given, it's created. And I can hear people saying then, how do I create it? I can hear that question. I can hear people asking it. I get asked it a lot.
Overview.
Real quick, you got to get out there and give yourself permission to start putting the ingredients together.
Okay. Give yourself permission to start putting the ingredients together. And I'm going to assume permission to put the ingredients together means permission to open your eyes and see.
To explore what you really care about and to go get a taste of it.
How scared should people be that their passion doesn't create money?
There's someone out there that will pay for anything you want to create. You just got to figure out what you want to sell them. And then you'll see there will be people out there that will pay for it. I 100% believe in that. I 100% believe too that there's a job out there that it's exactly what you want. It doesn't have to be for you to be happy, but I believe that it's out there. There's not an A, B, or C. It's an A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. It's literally, there's an infinite amount of opportunity out there.
Yeah. Yeah, there is. Absolutely is. Absolutely is. Respectful of your time. I appreciate it. You so much being on this. I think we're going to have a real good, actually, I kind of think we might be worthy of a second conversation one day soon, to kind of dig into this and maybe teach some people how to make it really happen. But I thank you very much for taking the time. I really do. Thank you.
And thank you for having me, and thank you for your questions. They were very insightful and thoughtful, and I was able to hopefully give a little bit more value.
You gave a lot of value. Thank you very much.
Thank you for connecting with us here at Touchstone Publishers. Please join our group Essential Leadership Skills and share your leadership knowledge with us all.